So Dean family, Dean Edge, today we're doing a reaction to In a Nutshell. It's called Smoking is Awesome. Weed maybe, I don't know about the other shit. But if you're new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, and share the video on all social medias. And comment below what reaction, I got the video in the description box below. Road to 100K, million, and billion. So click that subscribe button. Let's break as a family and a nation. And no further ado, let's get into this reaction.
The problem with smoking is that it's kind of amazing. This is an irresponsible thing to say, but if we're going to talk about it, we might as well do so honestly. Smoking creates a temporary problem and offers an instant solution. Once your brain is used to nicotine, for up to 72 hours you're itchy, nervous and stressed. But one drag and instantly you feel really good. But it's way more than just a
That's interesting. That's nicotine.
physical addiction. Smoking helps you focus at work and is an excuse to take regular breaks, which is good for you mentally. It's a tool against boredom, it suppresses your appetite, it makes bad moments feel less bad and good moments better.
They're smoking a cigarette.
It's social, fun together, and a good way to make friends as smokers always group up. Your lips are one of the most sensitive parts of your body, and putting something between them is deeply satisfying. So now that we've given smoking an honest introduction, let's smoke a cigarette together to see why it makes you feel so good and what exactly happens inside your body when you do it. The best worst thing. A cigarette is
That's very interesting.
dried tobacco leaves mixed with chemicals that make it burn slowly, helping you to absorb nicotine and flavors that make the smoke less harsh. Let's light it. Cigarette smoke is 95% gases like carbon dioxide and water vapor. The remaining 5% are particles called tar, and they contain the magic sauce, carbon or nitrogen compounds filled with nicotine. As you inhale, billions of particles interact with everything they pass through, getting stuck on your throat, tongue and trachea. Your lungs are like big inflatable sponges and have a filter and barrier, the cilia cells with hair-like extensions covered by a layer of mucus. They trap dust or bacteria to be swept away in a sort of dance. Tar particles land in the mucus and turn into a steely brown substance that stops the dance and paralyzes the cilia, allowing them to get deeper into your lungs to the alveoli. Alveoli are little air sacs, and here's where your actual breathing happens. They have very thin walls so that oxygen can transfer to your blood and carbon dioxide can leave. Now the magic is released. Nicotine passes through the thin walls and enters your bloodstream, reaching your brain so fast that it feels instant. The positive effect arrives right away. If your brain had a control board, smoking would be like pressing all the buttons at once, releasing loads of transmitters and hormones that affect your whole body. Epinephrine and cortisol make your heart beat faster and your body ready for action. Dopamine makes you feel happy and relaxed and reduces your appetite. Beta endorphins reduce pain and stress. Nicotine excites and calms you at the same time. You become more alert and able to focus, your nerves become more sensitive to pleasant sensations, then your whole body relaxes. Together, all of these effects just feel great. But your brain immediately tries to return to normal and pushes back against the effects of nicotine. Which is fine as long as you have nicotine inside your blood, but once its effects wear off, your body is left overcompensating, creating a massive imbalance within itself. The more you smoke, the harder your body tries to push back, which is why nicotine is so addictive. You stop feeling like yourself without it. It's still great, but now you also need it just to feel normal. If that was all smoking did, well, that would be kind of okay. Nicotine comes with thousands of different chemical buddies. Cadmium, lead, arsenic and cyanide, hydrogen peroxide or nitrogen oxides cause damage wherever they end up. Carbon monoxide reduces how much oxygen your blood can carry. In your lungs, your cilia cells struggle. It's hard to push mucus clogged up with tar, and some of your cilia cells die. Your alveoli are super sensitive and can't handle this sort of stress. A few of your tiny air sacs pop like balloons, causing irreparable damage. Your body needs to get rid of all this tar immediately. Goblet cells pump out extra mucus to compensate, which makes breathing harder, so you start coughing to get the tar and mucus out. Your immune system activates and macrophages begin eating up tar particles. Smokers have way more of these cleanup cells here because their lungs are literally full of dirt. But the nicotine makes the macrophages sluggish and inefficient. Worse, they vomit chemicals that dissolve your lung tissue and cause tiny wounds that turn into scar tissue. Scars in your lungs are bad if you like breathing. Nicotine raises your heart rate while ordering blood vessels all over your body to constrict. Meanwhile, toxic chemicals get stuck, causing countless tiny wounds all over your body that will turn into scars. Those scars leak proteins that create random blood clots, making your blood vessels even narrower. Constricted and narrow vessels put a lot of stress on your heart muscle that has to work much harder to keep blood flowing. Inside your skin, the chemicals trigger enzymes that break down collagen, the protein that makes your skin elastic and smooth. This creates folds and wrinkles. Your skin ages much quicker, and you look older
cigarettes
sooner.
is awful.
But
Nicotine, what
maybe
the
the
hell?
worst thing is what happens to your immune system. All over
How
your body it
videos
reacts to
say
tiny
smoking
wounds
is
and activates,
awesome,
fighting an
and
invisible
it's
enemy,
and
damaging
actually
healthy
opposite.
cells in
What
the
the fuck?
process. While at the same time, the nicotine
Smoking awesome, but here's the drawback.
makes it slow and sluggish.
The fuck?
Worse, at fighting actual
Niggas some
diseases.
pocket
We could go on
some
like this, but
cannabis.
this is getting old. In a nutshell, every single one of your organs is highly stressed and suffers some kind of permanent damage. Over time, fats get stuck in the scars inside blood vessels, which get narrower and narrower until they start to suffocate your organs. Your overworked heart beats even harder to push blood through the extra resistance, and your blood pressure rises. So hard that fluids seep out of blood vessels into your lungs, which makes breathing even harder.
That's crazy.
The likelihood of a blood clot blocking a critical passage in the body rises enormously, which can eventually cause a heart attack or a stroke. Almost all smokers eventually get chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So many of your alveoli are irreversibly destroyed that you're always short of breath, never able to breathe freely. Once you have it, it can only get worse, never better again. Finally, there's cancer. You get a sort of double whammy. On the one hand, you flood your whole system, and especially your lungs, with at least 70 highly cancer-causing chemicals. And on the other hand, you paralyze the part of your immune system that kills and prevents cancer. This is why cancer is so likely in smokers.
That's crazy.
Ultimately, smoking is uniquely dangerous among the things you are legally allowed to do. The average smoker loses 10 years of life, which means that some lose like 5 years and others more like 25. You don't know which one will be you. But it cuts into your health span even more, making a much larger part of your life spent being chronically sick. Oof. So why don't smokers not just stop doing it? Smokers are often seen as unhinged or without discipline, which is unfair.
True.
Nicotine is one of the most physically and psychologically addictive substances known to humanity. If you ever start using it, you'll likely struggle with it for the rest of your life. The physical addiction lasts around 3 days, but the psychological addiction is much harder to overcome because you form strong habits and it's connected to many social cues, like hanging out with friends or winding down from work. The perverse thing is that almost everybody who starts smoking as a teenager. The tobacco industry has to target vulnerable brains and get them hooked on the pleasurable effects of nicotine, or it would go away. Today, about 1 billion people will light a cigarette, which is a lot, but at least the trends are looking good. In 2000, 34% of adults were smoking. In 2020, it was only 23%. Still, in 2023, about 8 million people died from it. But it's not all doom and gloom. There are many successful strategies for quitting. We've got links to some in the video description. People who stop smoking by the age of 35 on average don't die earlier than non-smokers. If you're older than that, even quitting late can add years to your life. It's a bit like with climate change. Every bit counts, even if damage has already been done. We're not the morality or health police. You do you. But at least be aware what exactly you're doing and why you're doing it. Most of you watching this don't smoke, so, well, just maybe never try it. Smoking only really solves a temporary problem, but it creates loads of permanent ones.
Facts, that's real. He spoke some real shit just then. I can't lie. No, it's more so a cigarette problem right there. It's not a weed problem.
Food is legit. I wish it wasn't legal. They deliver discreetly to your door, and being discreet ain't exactly my thing. Hey! Good thing I never started. But it's not like I never do things I know I should. Good thing I never started. But it's not like I never do things I know I shouldn't. Like using sketchy free Wi-Fis or downloading files without
Again,
to make sure malicious.
Okay, though, here promo. Hope you guys like this. Please kindly mention, like, comment, subscribe, and share the video on all social media and comment below.
Used on 10 devices simultaneously. If you want to discover all the services Nord